And good afternoon, everyone. Electrical outages as it electromagnetic changes in our solar system coming into October. Incredible weather events intensifying by the day, and now developing nations have zero harvest left. They're coming clean. Our world is about to flip upside down. Society's going to go right along with it. And what do I mean by October of this year? On the left side there, you can see how Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune are going to square themselves. And the last time we saw this, 79 AD. So it makes you wonder, what kind of cycle would this be in? And we would see disruptions coming into it because we know at that time the world changed completely. New era, new prophet, and the collapse of Rome beginning. So if you're interested in looking at it from a different vantage point, Sun, Earth, the squared off planets, you could say nothing will happen, but we don't know until the event passes. And as we sit here, we'll see the Earth on the bottom, blue, moving counterclockwise from the 5 o'clock position, and we'll move into the 3 o'clock position here in a couple more months. What's going to happen? Do you think electricity grids on the planet might get disturbed because we're seeing all types of solar activity doing the exact same thing? Now conjunct two different effects. Maybe. Power blackouts, Albania, Bosnia, Croatia, Montenegro. They say it's a heat wave, but then Montenegro's power distributor, CEDIS, then reached out to Croatia's HEP and they said, well, undetermined international disturbance, could you say interplanetary disturbance for the outages? Sounds better, international, doesn't it? And then Ecuador went out at the same time. Now, these are entire countries that are having their grids go down. And then we saw New Zealand go down. And then Puerto Rico. And we're supposed to believe this is just some random happenstance where entire nations' grids are going down in unison. Now that's more on the natural side and what you could expect if there's extra current flowing through our crust and our aged infrastructure can't handle it. But then we jump over to Ukraine and they're coming out now saying they're facing a long winter and those living there may get 4 hours of power depending on how these next few months move. That might even be less, down to 1 or 2 hours by the time we get into winter. So they say it's going to take at least 50 billion to restructure, rebuild everything. So here's an interesting Ukrainian energy crisis is going to go to 2026 and they're going to jump everybody's rates by 60%. Now for me, that would be a huge pinch. If my electric bill went up 60%, my insurance is doubling for the car and the auto, food's going up double again. You can see there's going to be some pinch points here for us. But see, that's the thing. Then we need to add in the most important thing for our world, food. And I almost fell on the floor when the United Nations came out and said poorest areas have zero harvest left. Now they're talking about the degradation of soils, etc., and also stored grains. Really nothing left in these developed nations. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're just admitting that we're going into massive food deficits because Ukraine's going offline. Used to export 30 million tons down to near zero, and then all these developing nations here, and I will wind up the list for you. Speaking of digestive issue, this is caused by a potential toxin that's in all of the, quote, healthy foods that scientists have long been telling us to eat with a fraudulent food pyramid for the longest time. This potential toxin causes digestive issues according to Dr. Gundry, a world-renowned cardiologist. This is affecting millions of people nationwide. Warning signs include weight gain, fatigue, digestive discomfort, stiff joints, and skin problems. I can assure you that the damage is probably caused by these healthy foods. The good news is you can easily help fix the problem from your own home. You can find this information yourself, gutcleanseprotocol.com/adapt. That's gutcleanseprotocol.com/adapt. Because after years of research, Dr. Gundry has decided to release an informative video to the public for free, showcasing exactly which foods you need to avoid. gutcleanseprotocol.com/adapt, or click on that link in the description box below. And now on with the video. World's 25 poorest countries. So the UN referencing what's happening in Africa. So where you see a color-coded country, these are the areas they're talking about. That's a vast swath of Africa with no food. Now you can see why. China and Russia are in there, open arms, promising food. And it seems like the world is just one gigantic political, economic, and socioeconomic train wreck at the moment. All planned by design. Of course, the old world has ended. We're coming into the new world, so you need to burn it to the ground. That's what they've done routinely through history, time and time again, through the ages. So you have to ask yourself, really, Africa, it's been purposely put offline. So a lot of these things that we're seeing with the food shortages, it's because the infrastructure wasn't built, and it's been just tremendous government churn over there, depending on who's paying for which coup to occur. So a lot of these things are actually human-developed problems versus natural problems. I mean, you're looking at Sudan, southern Sudan, they've been in civil war for how long now? So that area that's not producing food, you could blame other factors than just saying we, the human species across the planet, are causing all these problems. Look at the conditions politically, geopolitically, and militarily in these same nations, and then they make that assessment. It's scary that they're coming clean and saying there's no harvest left. I get it. It doesn't matter if the politics cleans up tomorrow. It's going to take them decades to get their food production up to some level to be self-sufficient and then also be able to export. In Ukraine, it's going to take them forever to rebuild to become the bread basket that they were. So really, where does that leave us? They're telling you food prices are going to go up further. They're telling you your electrical is not going to be as stable as it was. So get ready for incredible disruptions in life. Basically what the broadcasted message is. So what's the solution for that? That's really the thing. What's the solution for it? And each and every one of us is going to have a different. But I challenge you to sit down with a piece of paper with you, your families, friends, neighbors, and write something out. If these were to occur, what's your action list? What's first, second, third thing? Do you have backups to backups? You're going to have to work through it. But everybody's going to have a different set of conditions. So it might be easier if you live in the countryside, a little more difficult if you live in a neighborhood, very painstaking if you're going to be in the middle of a city when this happens. So map it out and see where it takes you. I'm sure your mind will throw all types of ideas to you. Which brings us to the weather chaos. And when I say that, Tierra del Fuego, San Sebastian area, the waves have frozen. It is so cold, 15 below 0 Celsius, which is extreme for that area. And in Argentina, low temperatures, the sea is freezing. That's not normal. Frozen solid, let's jump 1905, Mississippi River frozen solid. Like in my lifetime, I don't remember that happening except for maybe some upper swaths of it where the locks are beginning out of the Great Lakes. But the entire Mississippi frozen solid, never seen that. So something was different at that time. But here we come with the floods again. Mallorca, check out the runway, looked very much like Dubai. And it just keeps continuing. This is the second time in Mallorca. And now there's this supercell that's sitting over Western Europe. And this is just one gigantic supercell that is formed in. So it's a superstorm literally in real time that we're looking at. Now this is Zhenyuan in Guizhou province. The thing that caught my attention, China floods every year. That's not an abnormal thing. It's always flooding. But this is one of the oldest cities in China. And it broke the historical record by more than 3 meters, which is 9 feet in the river level rise. So it rose 11 meters, which is 33 feet in 10 hours. That is 3 meters faster than anything ever recorded ever in Chinese history in this city. That's shocking in itself. Truly it is. Because the records go back thousands, plural, of years in this specific area. And if you look over at Nanjing, different places in Beijing, although it was a later capital, you go out to Xi'an and Yuanyang. Those are the old capitals, and there's a huge amount of records out from these older capitals, and I'm telling you, this is very, very, very significant as a marker of something has absolutely changed. When you're coming back to this type of long duration cycle for rainfall, yeah. And look at this lucky person fishing. Now, I don't know where they are, but if they were on a beach in Mexico, I'd for sure be coming in for a shot at tequila after that close encounter. Can you imagine a lightning bolt hitting like just feet from you while you're out in The sea right there, nothing to cover. And speaking of the sea, another anomaly occurs. This is now Hurricane Category 4 Beryl. It's the first since 1933 to form this far away. We're talking about distance, and also in the month of June. So we need to go back to 1933. Can you say Dust Bowl? So now it's turned into a Category 4 hurricane, 130 mile per hour winds, and now we're at the strength index here. So it's the strongest Atlantic hurricane on record in June, passing 1957 Audrey. So now we've broken two records here for this same storm. The furthest out since 33 and the strongest Cat 4 now since 1957. Something significant, as you can see. And I did want to bring this to your attention because it fits right in. Charles Hatfield, rainmaker, we're talking about geoengineering because now they're admitting it full out in the open that it is going on. Cosmic radiation management, solar radiation management, cloud seeding. And you have to wonder if this is in play and what else is going on to cause these massive, never before seen floods and wind speeds across the planet. Charles Hatfield, the rainmaker, brought floods 1916 to San Diego. He was asking for a few $100s, but then the city sued him for millions because he caused such floods that it wiped out part of the city. Proofing concept. And then Royal Air Force rainmakers, also in Devon in 1952, caused a massive flood. Torrents of water, rock slides, disaster at the hands of the RAF. So this is in play. But our world is vast and quickly changing, so again, it's all about the solutions. How are you going to prepare yourself for this? That is the number one thing to think about. Storable food is going to get you so far. Extra fuel, that'll get you so far. A little further than others. But then after those are exhausted, then what? That's the kind of thing you need to think about. And then the then what? Because that's going to be a mental game in itself. Just that alone of then what after you've exhausted your what would be considered preparation. So it's going to be mental game in addition to physical, and then the preparedness as well. So wish you the best in your preps, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.